on September 16th. You were skeptical in your belief that they could climb the table higher than the third place finish, but it was pretty impressive a year ago.
It is, but I don't think they're going to surpass Napoli. I don't think they're going to topple Juventus. I just don't think it's possible, but I do think they can challenge when it comes down to those home and away games that happen in all the cups that they qualified for doing so well last season. But this is the thing about Roma, is it's one of those aggressive sides that helps you grow as a player. It's one of those intermediate teams. It's a step up from many other teams around in the world, and it can be the stepping stone to get into one of the elite teams. That's why Kluivert has signed for Roma, because he knew going here could get him to the big club. And his dream club is his opponent right now, Barcelona.
Second half is set to begin in this 1-1 match. Accustomed to seeing numerous substitutions at the International Champions Cup. Many of the starters, though, remain. We'll alert you of changes as we move along. Monchu, the midfielder wearing 14, has come on for Barcelona to start the second half. Marcano and Manolas remain the center-back tandem for AS Roma here at the start of play. This is De Rossi, the captain, going over the top. El Shaarawy! Yes! Second of the game. No, the flag is up. The celebration began. And this one will be pulled back.
Well, I'll try. He is in an offside position. Started his run earlier than the ball left the Roma defender's foot. I think it was Manolas. But just that timing, that's what preseason's for, is figuring out the exact timing of when someone's going to take that longer touch and release that through ball. When exactly do you release your run?
El Shaarawy will take that as a positive nevertheless, I'm sure. We remain 1-1 at Arlington, Texas. This is Semedo.
Well, actually, there's inter-squad competition now. El Shaarawy's going to have to fight against Kluivert for time. You got Koric on the bench, the Croatian. All of these players want to stay where they're at, not get loaned out, stay with Roma because they know they're going to improve. So every time there's a signing, yes, it's good for the immediate, but it's also an impact on everybody to make sure that they keep their game at the top level.
Longley to Rafinha. Brazilian has found the back of the net. He's been lobbying for brother Thiago to come on board with Barcelona.
Number 18, Juan Miranda. Number 24.
Juan Brandovic Chumi, the 19-year-old defender, has come on, wearing number 16 for Barcelona. Cucurella is the player who comes on. Quite often in these situations, we're catching up as you are when so-called sub makes his first touch. We'll do the best we can from our vantage point. Part of the fun of this tournament as Santon. Season taken back by Barca. Goalkeeping change has taken place for Roma. Robin Olsen is done. Antonio Mironte, the 34-year-old keeper, has come on to start the second half in his place. Rafinha. Monchu. Abel Ruiz, the striker, has come on wearing number 7. Played across and Malcolm with the finish. The service from Balu had come on. And Barcelona has taken a 2-1 lead early in the second half.
in the middle and then looking to commit the defender and go out wide to the substitute. Balu gets a little lucky that the deflection off the defender goes right back into him in the space he wanted to. And Malcolm poaching on that back post and not picked up by the defender. An easy finish. And a great start for the new signing. He really has everything. Everyone says his potential is through the roof. He's got the technical attributes, the physical, and most importantly, the psychological. And also, look at the size of him for a young player.
He's twisting the knife in the side that he shunned. Ball takes a deflection, and waiting for it is Jesper Cillessen. Here's Malcolm on the ball once again. Roma believed it had a deal for Malcolm to come aboard. Instead, opting to sign with Barcelona. He's helped factor into the first goal, and he scored the second tonight. Balu, the fans of Major League Soccer would recall from his brief time with the Montreal Impact, setting up the second goal. Making the jump from MLS to Barcelona B for the time being. Roma had an answer once in this game. Let's see if they have another as Rafinha plays this away. Balu again. Pass behind Malcolm and taken back. This is El Shaarawy. Santon will leave for De Rossi. Daniele De Rossi, part of the Italian World Cup winning side back in 2006. Our colleague Brian McBride will most remember him from the elbow he took from De Rossi that resulted in a 4-game suspension in that World Cup. De Rossi came back. He contributed to the final, you might recall.
Just a very versatile player. Can play a multitude of positions. Now he's more that anchor in that midfield. Not as mobile as he used to be, but uses positioning to compensate for his loss in speed.
With Roma 17 years, and he has not lifted the Scudetto. Here's Semedo for Barcelona. Last Serie A championship won by Roma was back in 2001. The manager Di Francesco was part of that team in the midfield. Remembered not as the most talented player, but one with great grit and determination. We watch Semedo for Barcelona. Rafinha. Slowed by Strootman. Rafinha, the Brazilian, continues on. Strootman commits the foul, and a free kick for Barcelona.
In a dangerous space. At a little bit of an angle, not dead center. Rafinha's so busy. I thought we might be saying Arthur's name more in this game, but it's been Rafinha trying to make things happen with his ball movement and ball circulation.
Malcolm is the man of the hour. 21-year-old Brazilian has the go-ahead goal. Here he is on Barcelona's ensuing set piece. Malcolm strikes, and just over the bar. Sent the goalkeeper Mirante diving to his left.
Just a confident strike. Bend it up and over the wall, doesn't dip. Like he anticipated to, but it was pretty close. How do you like that for confidence, right? A new signing? No, I got this, guys. I'm going to take this one.
We know who the stars of Barcelona are, Kate. We're not seeing many of them tonight. Messi, Suarez. But realistically, what's a role for Malcolm on the Barcelona side in the season ahead?
Well, I think he's probably looking to feed those two while he learns how to interchange. With the departure of Neymar, they've always been looking for someone to come in who's a bit younger that can help be that transition player to link this older generation with the new ones, learn from them while they're still in their prime, and then be that leader as they move on, as well as to give some much-needed inter-squad competition to Dembele.
Abel Ruiz for Barcelona. This is Juan Miranda, who's come on as a second-half sub. Balu. Monchu and Rafinha. Semedo into the 18. This is Semedo. Closed down, earns the corner for Barcelona. That's well done. Santon, the player defending. Malcolm again from the near side. His service, football curled in, and it's put over the bar. Once again, opportunity for Barcelona knocking on the door. This will come back the other way.
Roma decides to go with the zone. All ball watching, now realize that someone's creeped on their back shoulder. Rafinha once again able to find the pockets of space to make himself dangerous.
Looking for his second of the match as this is worked away by the goalkeeper Mirante. Kit Margraf, I'm Steve Cangelosi. Glad you've joined us. Busy day of International Champions Cup presented by Heineken on the ESPN networks. Riqui Puig, the 19-year-old midfielder wearing number 8 for Barcelona, one of the top talents of Barcelona B, who's come on. Monchu now centrally in the midfield as well. Amazing the elevation of young talent through the years. The La Masia Academy and those elevated to the first team who've played such an important role in Barcelona's success domestically throughout Europe. Riqui Puig commits the foul. Quick start by Roma. El Shaarawy, the man with the goal. Santon. Manolas. Ball too far, that nearly latched on Dzeko. El Shaarawy trying to keep this in play. Valiant attempt, but it'll come back the other way.
That's the first service we've seen into Dzeko.
The season he had not long ago. 39 goals in all competitions for Roma back in 2016-17. Production dipped to 24 last year for Dzeko. Chumi ahead for Rafinha. Taken back by Barcelona. Malcolm off the left foot drive and a save made by Mirante.
That all came from the work rate of Ruiz, the substitute. Coming in, do a little busy work, able to dump it off to Malcolm. Again, they're going to keep him in for as long as possible to get him those minutes, to get accustomed to the system. Regardless of these, most likely won't be the players if he makes that first team, which we anticipate he will get some significant minutes. These won't be the players he's playing with on a daily basis, but the framework and the style can be imprinted.
They lay it off. Malcolm on the move again to the far side. This is Balou. Riqui Puig puts this wide and over the bar. Puig is a young man expected to play in the Segunda division, but we mentioned one of the top talents at Barcelona B. He's expected to train much with the first side. His role model, Xavi Hernandez. In his prime, one of the great passers in the world as Mirante plays this away.
He scored 27 goals in 37 games for the youth team.
Incredible, another foul is called. This is Dzeko tumbling, tied up with Monchu. The call is against Roma.
Yeah, he's pulling him down. Couldn't get to it. Referee was at a good angle to see that. But we can talk about these being the B players, the players that won't see any time with the first team. A lot of these B players for Barcelona would make a start for many of the starting 11 across the world. So much talent, so much depth.
Wonder if he'd start on this group. Full slate of action tomorrow. International Champions Cup presented by Heineken. Arsenal-Chelsea, 3 Eastern on ESPN2. Benfica-Lyon, 4 Eastern on ESPN News. All of the games available on the ESPN app. Midweek matinee action in the tournament continuing. Ricky Puig out wide. This is Balou, the ex-Montreal Impact man, firing off the right foot and blocked away high. Pellegrini brings this down for Roma. Pushed by Rafinha as the foul is called.
Remember, he got taken down in the first half with that awful tackle. He looks to be walking a bit gingerly. Can't imagine he's going to play a full 90. Especially after halftime, you've been sitting for so long and your ankle has been tweaked because that's what they put the ice on. It's hard to get going again. And just watching him recover, it's not with the same ferocity and intensity that he showed in the first half. Even though he's still impactful and involved in the play.
Kate, here come the reinforcements. Numerous changes now for Roma planned for this 61st minute of play. Manolas, De Rossi, many of the regulars coming off. Clivert has come off. Brian Cristante on loan from Atalanta, one of those who comes on. We'll sift through the changes and let's see how Roma lines up, needing one to level here. International Champions Cup play tonight. 2-1 game. Malcolm with the go-ahead goal early in the second half, and changes on the Barcelona side as well. Malcolm is done for the evening. His contribution was solid tonight. One to watch moving forward, the Barcelona striker wearing 26.
Him and Longley really have stood out for me. Longley, in the game against Tottenham and today in key moments, had a good tackle in the first half as well as distribution to set up the first goal for Barcelona.
Diego Perotti has come on. Here's a chance for Barcelona and a save by Mirante to keep the deficit 1.
Wonderful through ball in behind. And Ruiz trying to bend it around Mirante. Strong hand right there. This was the starter against Tottenham, against Holland in the second half, and he's been tested.
Here's the ensuing corner for Barcelona. Headed away by Roma. There is Mirante, the man who brings more 400 games of Serie A experience. Taking a look at Own the Save, brought to you by Ally. The Own the Save tracker, 5-1. The Roma keepers have been the busier of the two sides here tonight. This is played away by Silicen. Start of this evening for Barcelona. Luca Pellegrini, the 19-year-old left back, has come on for Roma. Wearing the number 3 shirt for Barcelona, Carlos Perez. Foul against Barcelona. Jorge Cuenca, the 18-year-old center back who has come on, wearing number 3 for the Spanish champions. This is Juan Jesus, Brazilian center back. Multiple changes for each side as we play on in the 64th minute. Monchu, Alex Collado. Starting to get chippy. Balou thought he was off to the races, but the whistle had blown. Monchu. Perez. Pass intercepted and taken back by Roma. And another foul, setting up a free kick practically from dead center. That's Patrick Schick, the 22-year-old Czech striker who's come on, forcing the foul.
And Monchu trying to pull the strings in midfield, set the tone and tempo. His team gets dispossessed and brings Patrick Schick down. That's a professional foul. Grabbing the jersey, I would prefer that type of professional foul rather than the one in from behind or clipping of the heels. You know how people are going to fall. Pulling their jersey a little bit, stops their forward momentum, allows your team to reorganize. I think it's like a nicer professional foul. It was my favorite way of doing it.
Is this Roma's chance to level the match? Come back from one down in the first half as Silesen looks on. He was the goalkeeper for Copa del Rey titles each of the last 2 years for this Barcelona side. The number 1 Ter Stegen with the team but not playing. El Shaarawy drills this and just over the bar. The International Champions Cup is presented by Heineken. Open your world. Enjoy responsibly. 2-1 game in favor of Spanish champions Barcelona. One of 3 games on the International Champions Cup slate tonight. Manchester United defeating Real Madrid 2-1. Tottenham over Milan earlier this evening by a score of 1-0. Perez for Barcelona. Ricky Puig. Diego Perotti. Given away, but the whistle had blown as the flag went up. Perotti, the 30-year-old striker, bulk of his career played with Sevilla. Won Europa League with that side back in 2014.
One thing they had in common with Sevilla that this Roma team does now is the sporting director. He was the one that, Monchi is the one finding these players, taking these relative unknowns, signing to Sevilla and turning them to superstars.
Played out wide. This ball drilled in and wide of Mirante's goal. Juan Jesus, the defender, who tangled up.
And I like this ball, a little bending ball. You can see Jesus trying to dive for it. But those are the balls that we see where own goals happen, hitting off the tip of the cleat. As unless you get fully behind it, you can't really predict where that ball is going to go when you're lunging for it.
Here's Collado on the corner for Barcelona. The in-swinger. Shot by Balou. Is sent off the mark. Ivory Coast born, raised in Quebec, Canada. Is Balou Tabla.
And Ballou's getting sucked in the ball, but he's able to just pull himself off. Look at that quick release, but he's leaning back a little bit. Again, that zone for Roma really needs to be examined as the season starts. I know this isn't them at full strength, but that's an experienced squad. And right now, Barcelona is able to find players in dangerous positions.
Ricky Puig. Balou wants Abel Ruiz, but taken back by Roma. 69th minute of a 2-1 game. Javier Pastore for Roma. Back for Juan Jesus. Maxime Gonalot. French midfielder has come on as well. Most of the starters now are gone from the match in this 2-1 game. As a handful remain. Here's Barcelona. Carlos Perez. Collado. Sergei Palencia with the throw-in for Barcelona as it's played back by Chumi. Palencia. Here's Abel Ruiz, the 18-year-old striker, another of the Barcelona B contingent. Palencia with a ball that's deflected away. Luca Pellegrini got in the path. Teenage left back who signed a 5-year deal with Roma back in the spring as we watch Monchu. Palencia. Collado. See the cohesion from the Barcelona subs who've come on in one wave, and they've had more than their yeoman's share of the possession since coming on this latest group.
They have, but that hasn't been as dangerous as it was from that original starting group. And the only difference is, yes, they're getting the same number of passes and they're holding on possessions. But right now, if you look at the subs, they're in the same passing channels, they're in the same passing angles. So every time they lay it off, instead of getting a triangle, one person's getting bypassed, they're letting the ball go to them, but they're not forcing that defender to make a step or move out of the way or create a different channel to operate in. That's natural with a bunch of subs coming on and players that aren't used to playing with one another. But even though they have possession, I'll get back to that. Even though they have possession, they're not as effective.
Given away by Patrick Schick. Joined Roma in August of last season. Czech national team striker. This is Collado for Barcelona. 73rd minute of a 2-1 game. Apologize. It begins in the afternoon. Arsenal versus Chelsea at 3 Eastern on ESPN2. Benfica and Lyon at 4 Eastern on ESPN News, and all of the games available on the ESPN app. Don't forget, Wednesday night in Atlanta, MLS All-Stars versus Juventus, ESPN, 7:30 p.m. Don Garber did not mention the name Ibrahimovic specifically earlier today. You could tell was not the happiest commissioner that Ibrahimovic would not be part of this midsummer event.
No, but you know what? I don't blame Ibrahimovic. He knows his body. He's a professional. He's older. And he's coming back from a serious knee injury at United. A serious one that took him a long time to come back from. He knows his body. And he's like, okay, if I want to be best for my team, I need to hold out of this.
Amazing contribution. 15 goals already from Zlatan Ibrahimovic, arriving in this first year in MLS. That's second in Major League Soccer only to Joseph Martinez, who will also represent the MLS All-Stars tomorrow night. Tonight you're watching Barcelona and Roma, a 2-1 game. This is how we got to this scoreline. Rafinha opened it up.
On the 6th minute, little interchange between Rafinha. So busy in the beginning moments of the game, but Roma grew into it. Kluivert baiting the defender in and then turning on the jets and getting inline, changing angles, finding El Shaarawy to tie the game in the first half.
Early in the second half, Balou had come on as a second half sub.
And again, Rafinha, he's committing the defender, then finds Balou, and this big signing Malcolm, the player that we thought was going to Roma, last second.
Manchester United and Real Madrid earlier this evening. Alexis Sanchez would factor into this.
Alexis Sanchez able to get on the score sheet, and Manchester United wins 2-1.
Ander Herrera got on the end of the Sanchez back header. Meanwhile, Tottenham and Milan earlier this evening.
And Kevin Nkudu able to pick up an errant pass, but look at that strike. Barely any angle. Only place it's gonna go on that near post. And that's what he was aiming for.
Tottenham would produce the 1-0 victory over Milan this evening. The 3 games. Now we're back to live pictures tonight as we enter the final quarter hour of this one. Barcelona and Roma. It's a 2-1 lead in favor of Barcelona. Sergi Palencia will watch Roma make substitutions. Federico Fazio set to come on, and so too is the Serbian defender Alexander Kolarov in the 76th minute of the match. El Shaarawy found the score sheet. Part of the Italian side for Euro 2016. 7 goals in Serie A last year, hoping for bigger and better things in the upcoming season. El Shaarawy. And Matteo Cardinale has come on. Another goalkeeping replacement. 17-year-old now is the man in goal for Roma. So another wave of substitutions as Roma looks for the equalizing goal in Arlington, Texas tonight. Silesen has been beaten once. Barcelona with the lead in the second half in Texas. Chick off the left foot. That took a deflection off Perotti and gathered by Silesen. Juan Jesus, chased by Ruiz. Fine footwork in the corner, no escape yet though for Roma. Schick once again, waits for the reinforcements, here they come. This is Perotti, tries to pull it back, closed down, and this trickles in. That's Alessandro Florenzi. Well, they nearly made a mess of it, but what do you know? In the 78th minute, we're level at 2.
Florenzi, versatile, can play in so many positions, continues his run. Just too slow trying to convert that ball from Perotti. But he continues his run. And Florenzi just waiting, not picked up. And with enough power, he's able to beat 2 players, goalkeeper and the recovering defender, to tie up this game.
The 27-year-old Florenzi emerged from the Roma Youth Academy to represent the Italian national team. He was part of the squad at Euro 2016. He levels the match here late in the second half. If we are still tied at the end of 90 minutes, it'll be decided with a penalty kick shootout. Here's Balu with other ideas. One back by Roma. Florenzi, cleared away by Fazio. The confusion of the substitutions, we were told that the teenage goalkeeper Cardinale was coming on. That is still Mirante though, the goalkeeper for Roma. Perez. Gathered up, Collado for Barcelona. Off the left foot, this hits that, and it'll come back the other way. Well, Roma's opening game of this International Champions Cup started well enough. They scored early via Patrick Schick. Then the roof caved in against Tottenham. Spurs would go on to win 4-1. Looking for their first result here of this tour of the United States, and they've come back twice against Barcelona this evening. Here's Kolarov.
Same thing happened to Barcelona against Tottenham. Went up for a lead. Tottenham able to come back in.
That changed quickly. Silesen with the easy save. 2 late goals by Spurs in that game to come back from 2-0. Here's Collado. Valencia. Taken back by Roma. Javier Pastore plays this across. That Schick trying to get on it. Easily handled by the goalkeeper Silesen. Collado for Barcelona. Off Silesen's distribution. Ricky Puig. Foul called in the 81st minute of play. Minder, our crew. Barcelona into the attacking third. This takes a deflection. It'll come back from a goal kick. ESPN FC has all things of the World Game covered for you. Some of the headlines that the boys will be discussing. Sid Lowe talks about Jose Mourinho's summer meltdown. Is that an accurate description of where Mourinho's mind has been at? Max Alejandro and Casey weigh in from the site of the MLS All-Star Game in Atlanta. Most enjoy this tour of the United States at the time of the International Champions Cup. I think Mourinho can't wait to find the plane home.
I think he's the one person that is saying all the wrong things. It's actually entertaining watching his press conferences and watch the woman next to him with that's from the club. You can tell she's just like, oh my goodness, the entire time he's answering his anger towards what he called the referees instead of baseball. He called them baseball referees. His players, he criticized them. One for coming in fit, one for staying home because he just had a baby.
Injuries and unavailability, and we see the go-ahead goal for Roma. In the 83rd minute, Roma has the lead for the first time tonight. Brian Cristante, who came on as a second-half sub, has put the Italians in front.
Well, Brian Cristante, the 23-year-old on loan from Atalanta. Look at him with a beautiful first touch, uses momentum against the defender, and then opens up his hips, and not a strong enough hand from Silesen. Doesn't get low early enough in order to push that wide and parry it away from danger.
Formerly of Milan and Benfica, Cristante, who's played in a handful of World Cup qualifiers for the Italians, as Roma seeks its first victory of this International Champions Cup. It is Cristante who puts his team ahead. Mirante waiting at the edge of the 18.
And that's when you need someone of his experience and his maturity of knowing the game to calm his team down, hold on to the ball a little bit, allow them to get organized.
Roma will open the Serie A campaign with a road match at Torino on the 19th of August. Such a splendidly successful season in 2017-18. Third in the table. Looking at Champions League once again this season. The run, of course, to the semifinals of the UEFA Champions League last year. Lightning was not about to strike twice, unable to come back from a 3-goal deficit in the 2-leg tie for a second time. As we watch Schick venture into the box, contact is made. Will Roma get the call? Yes, it appears to be a penalty. Juan Branderiz, Chumi, the defender back. And this is Roma's chance to seal the deal.
I don't think that's a penalty. Yes, they're both interlocking arms. Yes, they're both pushing off each other. But to me, the referee was so far away, and it's such a bad angle. Then he gives the foul to Roma.
Diego Perotti is the man who will try to deliver Roma its fourth. Perotti, yes, it's a 4-2 lead for Roma.
Perotti just right down the middle, anticipating that the goalkeeper, Silesen, is gonna dive, choose a side early. And just in the end, the substitutes were more decisive and more effective for Roma than Barcelona's have been in the past 20 minutes.
Silesen, you might recall, the Dutch World Cup keeper back in 2014. Played the entire game, was removed for a penalty kick shootout by the Dutch in a game that the Dutch did survive to advance in that tournament. Back the other way, Perotti. In the 87th minute, it is Roma that's exploded for 4. They trailed early in the second half by a 2-1 scoreline. Foul by Collado, taken back by Barcelona. They need to strike twice, need to do it quickly. Abel Ruiz is the striker on the ball. With Messi and Suarez on the trip, you might like their chances a bit more. Palencia. Into the waiting arms of the goalkeeper, Mirante. Perotti scored 5 times all of last season. The man briefly with Boca Juniors, the Argentine midfielder. Here's Kolarov. Off Barcelona, and more time will tick away. Barcelona's side that just ran away with the league last season, losing once in 38 games. That was the penultimate match of the season against Levante, in which the infamous decision to rest Lionel Messi was made so that they would compete in a friendly with Messi just days later at South Africa. Perfect season was denied Barcelona. Still, considering it was a year in which they bid goodbye to Neymar, they accomplished some wonderful things, UEFA Champions League experience aside. Mirante waiting in the 89th minute.
These games are so important because it allows both coaches to see which players they should call up for all those competition and those cups. When there's regular team one, their starting group gets fatigued, who's going to be able to perform? And right now, if you're Roma, you're getting some answers about some of these substitutes. Like Cristante, you bring in Kluivert, you get him minutes, you get him fit. Andor is still on the bench, the Turkish winger who has quick feet and can serve dangerous crosses, looking for Njeko. So it's just a vetting of players in different environments to see how they handle it and just add some confidence for these players going into the season.
Mentioned the season for Roma. Serie A opens on the 19th of August. Barcelona gets busy shortly after that. They open the Spanish Primera season as defending champions August 18th at the Nou Camp versus Alaves. First Clásico will take place on the 28th of October between Barcelona and Real Madrid. That'll have a different feel without Cristiano Ronaldo, surely, but still a mega event on the Spanish calendar. "90 minutes have elapsed. 4-2 Roma. 3 minutes of added time posted by the fourth official as we watch Carlos Perez. Palencia. Collado floats this. This takes a dangerous deflection. Wide of goal. That's Jesus, who nearly put it in the back of his own net. It's the ensuing corner instead.
And Jesus is asking for some communication from his goalkeeper, Varante. That's the second time he's lunged for balls where there's not a forward on him. There's no reason for him not to let that ball go and prevent any dangerous deflections.
Service by Monchu. Headed away by Roma. Schick up to challenge for this. Balu. Barcelona keeps this alive. Collado's ball intended for Balu. Played away by Roma. Another challenge by Collado. Pressed by Barcelona results in a foul, and that will stop play.
And I think that's something right there. I don't think enough American fans see how to go down. I hate to say it, but you know that you're not going to be able to play yourself out of pressure. Get a little contact, and you purposely wait to bring a player to you. You can get a foul and play out of pressure.
Perotti, beautiful back heel. Pellegrini plays it across. Arriving late was Cristante. Kept alive by Roma. Only for a moment. This will come back for a Silicen goal kick. It's preseason, you can smile, right?
I just love it.
Final moments of the match. Referee rules advantage. This is Palencia. Sergei Palencia tries to cut by Pellegrini. Referee says play on as it's worked ahead. Roma on the heels of its first result of this International Champions Cup. Each side with one game left on U.S. soil to close out the tour in the United States. This is Cristante, the man with the go-ahead goal tonight, what stands to be the game winner. In the final moments, played ahead, Abel Ruiz for Barcelona. Looking to make the scoreline closer, works this back. Collado. The intercept by Roma. That should be all. Indeed it is. An AS Roma side that trailed 2-1 early in the second half roars back with 3 unanswered, and they go on to defeat Barcelona by the final score of 4-2. We'll be back to wrap things up in a moment. First, let's check in with Scott Van Pelt to see what's on tap on Sport.